If you focus on getting prepared and being prepared as you can, rather than focusing on the results, you're going to end up getting better results. What's up, guys? It is Mighty Q, and this is Mighty Q's Locker. Today, it is about being prepared. And this story is a football story. So we're not in wrestling today. So I know all of you guys that are wrestlers and love wrestling stories. This is one of my football stories as a wrestler, but I think it actually ends up being kind of fun. But it is about being prepared. So I hope you guys enjoy. So in October of 2022 is primarily when I decided I was going to go full-time training for MMA, and I was doing Muay Thai in the morning at 10. I was then lifting in the middle of the day at like 12, 1, 2, 3, like somewhere in that time frame. Sometimes I would leave Muay Thai and go straight to lift and then go eat or whatever, so it just depended on what was going on the rest of the day. And then I was going back at night for Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu again. Sometimes I would triple up at the end of the night where I would go Muay Thai and double Jiu-Jitsu, or sometimes it was double Muay Thai and one Jiu-Jitsu class. But either way, it was one of both every night. And essentially I was doing 2 and or 3 days, Monday through Thursday, and then I was lifting Friday, Saturday, and sauna on Sunday. And that was basically my schedule, and I did that for like October through the middle of November is when I went to Vegas, and that is exactly where this kind of starts. So I got super into MMA. Like I'm hooked on jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and just MMA in general, based solely on the fact of when I first watched the UFC, it was Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz and those guys, and like that's what initially got me into it. So now having the chance to do it, it's a lot of fun. It brings back a lot of memories with different fights, and just the culture around it, and the camaraderie is something that I'm very enticed in. So I basically got full absorbed in October through basically the middle point of November is when I went to Vegas, and I was playing a football game out there, and I hadn't practiced football. I hadn't put the cleats on. I hadn't thought about football. It had been full MMA. And so I was in phenomenal shape. But I was like cut down. I was 195 to 205 when I was 195 when I first started doing MMA, but I'd come down from 205. I ended the football season at 215. I then was at 205, was kind of floating around there, and then got down to 195. And so I was 195 in October. And by the time I went to Vegas at that middle end of November, I was basically like 170 flat was like the walk around weight. So I mean, I was pretty leaned out. I was pretty trim, and hadn't played football, wasn't in that mind. But when I was in Vegas, I got a chance to go to Randy Couture's gym, Extreme Couture, and based on the time of the year, it was winter in North Dakota. So I drove to Vegas, and I drove through winter storm to get there, which delayed my time of when I was going to initially arrive. And I was going to go to a different class the day before. And so I ended up going to a Muay Thai class Friday morning. And well, that Muay Thai class that I went to, they spar. And that was the first time I had sparred. So I walked in. I hadn't sparred yet. I'd been doing Muay Thai for a month and a half. And I jumped in, and I got a chance there was 6 of us total in the class, and we got to go 5. So we went 5 rounds because we went with each person. We went 5 3-minute rounds, and I've never felt so alive in my life. It was a different type of feeling where I was so present in what was going on. I knew exactly what was happening. I knew exactly where both of my feet were. I knew where my head was going to have to move to miss a couple punches that I actually saw. The other ones that caught and landed very, very clean, mind you. It was just such a fun experience. And it was the only time I've really been like, wow, I was so prepared because all I had done was Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu for the last essentially 2 months. That's what I did. I woke up and I immediately, that was the first thing I was doing. Before I went to sleep, that's what I was doing. And because I spent so much time getting ready and that's all I thought about and all I analyzed, I was so prepared when I showed up to Vegas to do Muay Thai. But when it came to the football side, because that was Saturday morning, I wasn't as prepared. I was more or less mentally checked out from the game. I wasn't really that fully engaged because it wasn't what I was focused on. I hadn't thought about football in months. Not only hadn't thought about football, like this was a all-star type game where like, yes, you're out there, you're playing for pride. It's football. If you're not playing 100%, then like you're going to get hurt. But like not putting the attention in. So where I was prepared though, I was in phenomenal shape. When it came to my body being in the right condition, I was fully prepared, but I wasn't mentally prepared. I didn't take the time and get my mind in the right space that I needed it to be in for a football game. Now, I mean, yes, once the game actually started, like there's a feeling where, hey, like we've done this before, like the switch kicks on, and that comes with years and years of playing and the amount of hours of practice and other times. But I'm saying playing at the top of your game and being as good as you possibly can be, you have to be both physically and mentally ready. Physically comes from the hours spent in the gym, the hours spent running, the hours spent in recovery. You know what you're doing. If you're taking the time to stretch, then you're going to feel relatively looser when you're warming up. And when you feel really loose when you're warming up, that starts getting this really good energy going through your body because you're like, man, I'm warming up and I'm already kind of feeling really warmed up. Like I feel really good. Like things are moving today. Like everything is clicking in the right spot. And that starts the mental preparedness because so just taking a little element like stretching all the time, do it every day at night, could make you feel that much better when you do warm-ups, which starts a good energy flow, which then gets your mind clicked in to be like, okay, boom, that's the last check. The body's here, we're physically fit, we're good to go. Boom, let's go, let's get after it. There's nothing but, hey, lock in, go get it. It's really easy to check in mentally when you're in that space. Where it's a little bit harder is you haven't really been stretching, or you haven't really been going to the gym. You've been skipping some of the workouts. You weren't really paying attention at practice. You didn't do any of the film study. You just kind of are there. You're not only going through the motions, you're not even showing up to go through the motions. That's not being prepared. And so what happens? Well, if you're not doing any of those things, you know that you're not doing the recovery right. So you know you're not stretching. You know you're not doing mobility. So something normally hurts, which when something hurts, when the warm-up starts, it's like, oh, man, my knee doesn't feel great today, or my ankle doesn't feel great today, or, man, this just doesn't feel great today. And so that mentally already starts something where your brain starts attacking at that, and it's like, oh no, why does this not feel good? You now have to take mental energy to suppress that thought. You have to find a way to take that thought out of your head and make it to where it's no longer a value. Hey, I'm just going to keep warming up. And sometimes you just keep warming up and you keep getting loose and you do some stretching, you do some whatever else, and sometimes it goes away. Like sometimes you just get to a point where you're like, oh, actually, I feel pretty good. It was just kind of a little stiff. But sometimes if you can't make it go away, then like that takes just an ounce of energy away from the game. And that's all it takes. So when you need to get prepared, you need to look at it more systematically of what can you do every day that is going to set you up to be in the perfect place come game time or match time or whatever it is. If you take the little steps every day and you know that you're doing your workouts, you know that you're doing your recovery, you know that you're eating the way that you should be, you're doing the mental preparedness, whether that be through your own meditation or whatever it is that you do to get your mind right. If you know that you're going to show up 100% when it comes time to wrestle or play a game or do whatever it needs to be, you're going to be at 100%, which leads to you giving 100%. And wherever the chips fall, like that's just how they go. Sometimes you play an absolutely great game and you fall short. Sometimes you have 14 tackles, an interception, and you lose by 3. Hey, played great, but, we lost. Our offense, we just had whatever going on. Like, whatever it ends up being. Like, hey, then it's whatever mistakes. But at the same time, I was really prepared for the game or the match, and I lost. And I wasn't prepared, and I lost. Well, did I lose because I wasn't prepared? Or did I lose because there's something we need to work on? So that's the main focus there. If you know that you show up and you're not prepared, you are putting your body at risk, your mind at risk. And if you think that a win or a loss, when you kind of squeaked one out and you weren't prepared, trust me, it's all about balance. It's going to come back in the end. Do what you can do, show up, and be as prepared as you can. Because the result, it's going to end up being the result, but that's something you can't control. You can control how prepared you are. And at the end of the day, you always just control what you can control. And that's what you can do. All right, guys, that is it for me today. Pretty good. It's rocking and rolling. If you guys like the show, I would appreciate the follow, but then just share it with a friend. That's really all I'm going to ask. I'm not really going to try to plug or do anything. Just share with a friend. If you like the show, follow it so that way, hey, you can have more episodes, but then just share it with a friend. That's all I ask. All right, guys, that's it. I will talk to you later. See you later. Bye.